This video is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium Skillshare membership so you can explore your musical, artistic, design, or business interests to your heart's content. Skillshare plays an essential role in my job, and I couldn't run Volksgeist without it.
It's clear that Kanye West isn't well. From his airing out of complicated family issues online to manic outbursts of creative energy that rarely result in a fully formed product, he's moving too fast to get any one thing done properly. His political aspirations are no exception. His presidential campaign has so far been hosted primarily on Twitter. And while it's clear to all that he has no real chance of being elected president of the United States, he proclaims daily that he's going to win in a landslide. So is Kanye's political platform just another poorly planned mess of ideas fueled by pride and manic energy, or is there substance behind his concepts? Regardless of how disagreeable they may be, let's talk about that.
I'm going to start with what might be the most disagreeable idea Kanye has been promoting during his presidential campaign so far: opposition to abortion. On paper, it looks like a pretty simple evangelical pro-life position, one that we've all heard before. Abortion is bad, don't do it. But Kanye's opinion on abortion, both personal and political, is more complicated than you might think, and definitely better informed than it sounds. You see, many Black Americans fighting for civil rights have opposed abortion and birth control throughout history, with even the Black Panther Party in the late 60s and 70s viewing abortion as a device intended to weaken Black families and communities, stifling their progress towards equality. And this view wasn't unfounded. Throughout the 20th century and across the United States, there are tens of thousands of examples of forced sterilization of women and men of color. Cecil B. Moore, the namesake of the neighborhood where I live in North Philadelphia, and the head of Philadelphia's NAACP chapter throughout the 70s, spoke out against abortion as well. He claimed that if Black communities embraced birth control, it would lead to race suicide. Activists like Marcus Garvey, H. Rap Brown, and Whitney Young all vehemently opposed birth control, while MLK Jr. wrote in a letter, "I do not think it is correct to argue that birth control is sinful. The natural order is given us, not as an absolute finality, but as something to be guided and controlled. Changes in social and economic conditions make smaller families desirable, if not necessary. A final consideration is that women must be considered as more than breeding machines. It is true that the primary obligation of the woman is that of motherhood, but an intelligent mother wants it to be a responsible motherhood, a motherhood to which she has given her consent, not a motherhood due to impulse and chance. And this means birth control in some form. All of these factors seem to me to make birth control rationally and morally justifiable." And as we know, MLK's position is the one widely held today. Additionally, the idea that Black communities are weakened by abortion is most often used today as a bad faith, if not insidious argument against the intelligence and responsibility of Black women. If you want more information about this, you can check out an essay in the National Black Law Journal by Sharissa Dobbins Harris called "The Myth of Abortion as Black Genocide: Reclaiming Our Reproductive Cycle." However, the beliefs of civil rights activists and Kanye West are best summed up in the words of French theologian John Calvin: "Contraception quenches the hope of the family." As a Christian, Kanye's belief is that family is natural and good. As a Black nationalist, this thought is completed and supported by the idea that strong Black families will lead to Black liberation. Whether or not access to abortion weakens a Black family or strengthens it is clearly up for debate. But what I'm trying to say is simple. In the words of Ansi Kemel, we often see Kanye's political commitments as bizarre and lightly held, when in reality this perception arises from Kanye's bizarre and careless expression of them. His political commitments are neither the result of a manic episode nor arrogant ignorance. They are outmoded in modern discourse and harmful according to many, but in no way are they historically unsubstantiated. Except, of course, for the birthday party. That one's a mystery to me, too. Kanye definitely doesn't know nothing. Throughout his career, starting as early as the college dropout, he's preached cautious Black empowerment, such as on the songs All Falls Down when he warns against an obsession with material goods. "We try to buy back our 40 acres. They make us hate ourselves and love their wealth. Drug dealer by Jordan, crackhead by crack, and the white man gets paid off of all of that." Once again, in the words of Anzi Kamel, in West's telling, Black hip-hop culture's obsession with opulence is internalized racism, arising from several interlocking phenomena. Kamel continues, following his march to the sea, General Sherman promulgated Special Field Orders No. 15, granting freed slaves 40 acres each on which to live. For most, the land never materialized. Black Americans were left landless, poor, and, by implication, bereft of agency. As West interprets the matter, Black Americans eventually turned to consumption in an attempt to prove Black worth. But in a cruel twist, the purchases by which they hoped to prove their worth and flex their wealth benefit white capital. West believes that white capitalism profits from Black consumption, which is itself a doomed attempt to claw back dignity from white America. In short, present-day anti-abortion, pro-family Kanye West has been ruminating for the last 15 years. His Black nationalist view of economics is practically taken from Malcolm X's "the ballot or the bullet" speech, in which he proclaimed the economic philosophy of Black nationalism is pure and simple. It only means that we should control the economy of our community. Why should the economy of our community be in the hands of the white man? Kanye's actions as an entrepreneur support the concept of a Black-owned economy as well, with him stating last year that he's going to return all production of his clothes to the United States by 2021 and hire former prisoners to work in his factories. He wants to strengthen Black communities. He wants to make good on General Sherman's orders, and, in his own words, end the 13th Amendment, returning the slaves their promised 40 acres. Given Kanye's substantial position on economics as a Black nationalist, is it now so hard to believe that his opinion on family could come from the same place? His view of economics has been developing for as long as he's been an entrepreneur, which, as we know, has been his entire adult life. But only in recent years has he become a family man and developed a concern for the good of the family unit as strong as his concern for the good of the economy. I'm not saying Kanye's positions on family are good or constructive. In fact, I believe they aren't. But what I'm saying is that it makes sense why his opinion on abortion would be informed by the same source as his opinion on economics and Black liberation. After all, his parents were both Black nationalists, with beliefs in the same vein as his own, with his own mother being arrested at the age of 6 during a sit-in at a segregated restaurant in Oklahoma City. In a recent speech, Kanye revealed his own personal reason for opposing abortion. His father wanted to abort him, but his mother saved his life. He said, "There would have been no Kanye West because my dad was too busy." He then brought up an example from his own life. When he found out Kim Kardashian, his then-girlfriend and now wife, was pregnant with their first child, he had wanted to abort the pregnancy. After a vision from God, he called Kim and told her that they must keep their child, and so they did. Surely Kanye thinks that there is someone with potential to change the world as much as he has, and he wants to avoid them getting aborted as well. Now, many of Kanye's statements are downright confusing and obvious signs of the fact that while his platform may not be fueled by mental illness, his current bout of public appearances certainly is. But I think that by learning about why Kanye believes what he believes, instead of just chalking up his disagreeable statements to mental illness, is a good way to strengthen your understanding of your own perspective, even if you don't agree with his. But at the end of the day, I have no doubt in my mind that he doesn't truly understand politics on a practical level, and he's definitely not planned his campaign out at all. During his rally in Charleston, South Carolina last week, Kanye suggested a replacement for Plan B, Plan A, claiming that instead of making abortion illegal, he would like to offer $50,000 a year to single mothers, explaining that while it takes a village to raise a child, society has been set up for single mothers to never have a village. Essentially, he just wants to offer single mothers an option to raise their kids with enough resources to flourish. Sounds pretty good until you reach the point in the rally where Kanye suggested that Israel and Africa pay for the program, and that maybe instead of $50,000, single mothers should get $1 million or something. He slowly worked himself into a fury, denouncing corporations like the NBA, Universal Music, Adidas, and Gap for not having enough Black board members and executives. He diverged into a God-fearing, Old Testament-themed rant about demons and truth. He even claimed that Planned Parenthood was founded by a white supremacist. Wait, that one's actually kind of true. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a lifelong proponent of eugenics, and only last week after Kanye spoke about her beliefs did the organization pull her name from their Manhattan health center. That's not to say it's a secret though, because Planned Parenthood has acknowledged her legacy many times over the years. When Kanye West announced that he was running for president, he was supported by some and sneered at by many, while everyone wondered, is he even being serious? And while that might be a mystery for him to know and us to wonder about, one thing is for certain. The positions of substance that Kanye does hold have appealed to those on the left and the right. He advocates for gun rights, the importance of family, and the liberating power of owning property. On the left, he's made appealing by a call for an end to police brutality, mass incarceration, and the death penalty. He admires socialist politicians and evangelical preachers alike. Essentially, Kanye thinks that in order to move forward, the country should be more progressive and the family should be more conservative. And even if you find it disagreeable on many levels or just a few, he definitely has a potent combination of beliefs. In the end, though, it is abundantly clear that Kanye is not now in the proper mental state to serve as an elected official, nor will he ever be. To me, it's debatable if he should even have a platform at all, given how willing he was to support Donald Trump wholeheartedly, only to claim later that he never meant to do so in the first place. He declared that slavery was a choice and that he loves Candace Owens, one of American politics' most malevolently stupid personalities. This year, he named his political party the Birthday Party and decided that his running mate would be a preacher from Wyoming who claims to never watch the news. His first presidential rally occurred the day after he dropped out of the race. So once again, I just want to reinforce that I don't want to prop up Kanye's political platform. It's full of missteps and holes that range from passively ignorant to downright wrong. But I do want to defend his right to express himself, because a lot of what he says isn't just made up. It's coming from somewhere. It may be outdated and it may not appeal to most of us, but he has a right to say it without it being blamed on his mental illness. In fact, the most important lesson here may not even have to do with Kanye at all. It may be one of male mental illness. We all see Kanye as crazy. We see him as so crazy that even when he's doing something as simple as following in the footsteps of what his Black Panther parents believed just a few decades ago, we instantly perceive it as off the wall. Knowing him better than any of us ever could, his wife said it best. We as a society talk about giving grace to the issue of mental health as a whole. However, we should also give it to individuals living with it at the time when they need it most. One of the biggest problems I run into when creating videos is the desire to always have a high production value. And I didn't go to college for anything related to design, so I'm completely self-taught. And true story, the biggest resource I've used to teach myself everything I know is Skillshare. That's why I'm always excited to work with them. Skillshare is an awesome online learning community where millions of people come together and explore the next step in their creative journey. You can take thousands of classes on topics like illustration, design, photography, video, music, and more. Skillshare is for people who want to actually make use of their creative skills and interests at any skill level, beginner, intermediate, or expert. I even use Skillshare to help me learn more about motion graphics and sound design, regularly referring to the website when I need inspiration or technical knowledge. One course I can highly recommend on the website is my friend Thomas Frank's new course on mastering habits. It's the perfect course to help you learn how to set and achieve personal goals, and I loved it. And best of all, premium Skillshare membership costs less than $10 a month. That means for less than $10 a month, you can use Skillshare to improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and help you do more of the work you love. So make the most of the year, because the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get 2 months of unlimited access to Skillshare classes for free.
That's skl.sh/Volksgeist20.